Welcome back, Chipsters, to the EPL eKasi Fantasy League. Game week 5 is in the books, and what a ride it's been. Today we'll break down how the standings shifted, highlight the heroes and flops of the week, then sit down with Molemo, the coach of Teta Ball himself, to hear the secrets behind his rise to number 1 in game week 4, or is it also game week 5? Let's dive in. Game week 5 did not disappoint. We saw big swings across the league, some managers climbing, others slipping, and a few still holding their ground. Did Teta Ball FC keep a grip on that number 1 spot or not? Let's pull up the standing and see exactly how the tables look after game week 5. Now let's take a look at how the league standings shaped up after game week 5. Teta Ball FC is still standing strong at number 1 with a total of 296 points. Hot on their heels is TM Dragons, climbing into second place on 287, while Breaking Badly slips to third with 285. The mid-table battle is heating up too. We've got Diogo Jots that moved up to 4th, Easy FC slightly drops to 5th, and Kepa Clean FC slots in at number 6. And then Barcelona slides to 7th, and then we've got a brand new entry at number 8, which is All Out XIFC by Silas. The margin at the top are razor thin, just 11 points separating the top 3, and even in the middle and lower table, they are only split by like a handful of points. But I must say, shout out to TM Dragons, who posted the highest score for this week with 69 points. Game week 5 has definitely set the tone for a very tight season ahead. Now let's spotlight the top fantasy club for game week 5. If you're new to Fantasy League Premier, remember, it's not just our eKasi League. Anyone around the globe can play this game. And each week, there's one manager who stands above the rest. So this week, the highest scorer ranked up a massive 112 points, thanks to some individual performances and a smart bench boost. Leading the charge, we had Holland, who wore the captain's armband and delivered. We're looking at 18 points. Bruno Fernandes also came through big for United, while Liverpool Gameweek smashed in 15 points. At the back, Trafford brought in 9, Chalobah aided in 8, and Catch chipped in with 10. Even with the midfield surprises, they really showed up. We've got Kudos with 7, Reinders with 9, and off the bench, Richie Leeson gave him another 9 points, making that bench boost count. All in all, it was a near perfect week, showing exactly how timing your chips and backing the right players can make the difference between an average score and topping the world charts. Right, and before we jump into our manager interview, let's take a look at the team of the week for game week 5. For those who may not know, this is the ultimate 11. The players who scored the highest points in fantasy during this round. So if you had a few of these guys in your squad, chances are you had a very good game week. At the back, we've got Pope keeping it solid, as well as Maguire, Cash, and Nico Williams making up that defensive line. Midfield was also fire. Gravenberg leads the way alongside Anthony, also some Brunos. Up front, we've also got some strikers that delivered big, like Isidore and Calvert-Lewin, to rounding off that attack. A moment of silence, managers. This is the Fantasy Premier League Team of the Week for Game Week 5. The Dream 11 that every manager wishes they had picked. And now it's time for our manager spotlight. Sitting comfortably at number 1 since game week 4, we've got none other than Molemo, the mastermind behind Teta Ball FC, an Arsenal fan through and through, which means he knows all about hope, heartbreak, and holding onto the top spots a little too early. Side-eye smirk. But unlike Arsenal's infamous bottle job memes, Molemo's side has been consistent, sharp, and ruthless at the top of the eKasi League table. Some say he's the Michael Teta of fantasy. Others say he's just been blessed with the right chips at the right time. Either way, he's got the rest of the managers chasing shadows. Let's hear from Molemo himself what the secret behind Teta Ball's early dominance is. Molemo, welcome to the show. Number one since game week 4, holding that spot tighter than Arsenal fans hold on to this is our year. So after the first 5 games, how are you feeling about Arsenal's performance? Confident that they'll keep delivering? Or are you already rethinking your fantasy strategy?
The worst thing for any fan when playing FPL is to have the discipline to stay away from the team that you actually support. And especially being an Arsenal fan, given how tough the start was for us this year and the fixtures were not kind at all. That's something that's definitely come through in my team. I think I only had one Arsenal player. So for me, it was really, I see Calafiori as an ultimate maverick. His fitness seems to be holding so far. And touch wood, we pray that it long may it continue.
That's the internal FPL struggle right there. Heart versus head. And fair play, limiting yourself to one Arsenal player takes serious discipline. Touch wood though, let's just hope indeed that fitness holds out. Now, speaking of things that can throw managers off, every game week comes with its own surprises. And with the World Cup qualifiers interrupting club football soon, injuries might play a big role. Are you worried about that at all for your squad?
For sure, injury concerns are always the nightmare. And again, that's the dreaded patience of trying to avoid the early changes, especially when there's an international break happening. So it's going to be really a tough one to try and see who are the best players to choose. And I think that's why the strength of your bench ultimately becomes more and more important. So the idea is to really see how we can best move those funds around. Luckily this year there's quite a lot of cheap enablers in all the different positions that are coming up and so far seemingly showing good returns. Hopefully that can carry on and hopefully we pick the right one from week to week.
Oh yeah, squad depth and cheap enablers really are the goal this season. Feels like survival of the smartest bench. Speaking of smart moves, let's shift gears a bit. How long have you actually been playing fantasy, Molemo? Do you think it really takes years of experience to succeed, or can a newcomer still come in and hold their own?
Yeah, I've been playing fantasy since 2014-2015 season, and it becomes addictive, so we just keep playing more and more every year, joining more leagues and letting the game drive our lives as usual. For me, I think really your ball knowledge plays some part, but I mean, given the content and the template teams that are out there right now, I think ultimately, and the endless choices you have, a high degree of luck that goes with it as well. I think the biggest number one key learning from all the years of fantasy for me was really about getting your captaincy choice right. I think that governs whether you have a great game week or not. Almost everything hinges on that. But it adds banter, it adds interest to the game, and it makes watching football a lot more enjoyable because you're not just focusing on the team you support. You nowadays have to almost watch every game, or you have players invested in every game that happens over the weekend. So yeah, it's lovely, loving it.
You're spitting facts. Captaincy really can make or break your week, and timing those chips is an art. Sounds like you've got the wisdom of a seasoned pro, Molemo. Now, to lighten things up a bit, on to the last question. If your fantasy league team had a personality, would it be the bold risk taker, the clever mastermind, or the steady and consistent type? Or are you just pure chaos with vibes only?
In terms of personality of my fantasy league team, for me, I think it shows in the way I've played so far. It's about aggressive, brave, bold, and just being risky. That's why I've not waited to use my chips. And
so takeoff here is aggressive, brave, bold. That's the champion's mindset right here. Thanks, Molemo, for sharing your thoughts, and good luck holding on to that number one spot. But hey, if Arsenal slips, at least we can always say you're still topping this league. And that's a wrap for Game Week 5 Chipsters. Some managers souring, some crying into their chips, and Molemo, well, still sitting at number one like he owns the place. Whether you nailed your captain, got lucky with a bench boost, or just survived the chaos of injuries and midweek madness, there's always next week to plot your revenge. And remember, Fantasy League is 10% strategy, 20% luck, and 70% praying your players don't pull a disappearing act. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment your top pick of the week. And we'll see you back for Game Week 6, where the chase continues and the drama never sleeps.